I'm going to help you tackle the biggest issue you have with manifesting in this video. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am your Muse Traci. I am here to inspire you and empower you to live the life of your dreams, to create on purpose exactly what you want in all areas of your life, to stop settling, to stop suffering. You are not here to suffer. If that sounds good to you, you are definitely welcome to subscribe to my channel. And let's get right into the video. So I want to illuminate this issue. It's the biggest hurdle. Let's call it a hurdle. It's the biggest hurdle that you have in manifesting, and it is you think you're not in control. That's the biggest issue that you have. You may know this in an instant, but you have a habit, I'm guessing, if you're like most humans, of falling back into the illusion that you have been living in for most of your life. Okay, most of us did not grow up knowing about manifesting. If you did, you are amazingly lucky and good for you if you've spent most of your life practicing viewing the world this way. But most people did not. And so they spent most of their life living in the illusion of being a victim or being not in control, being in a world that is just happening. Life is just happening and things happen and people think things and do things and say things. And, it's this mindset that you're just living in a world that just happens all around you. This is your biggest problem, struggle, issue, hurdle, call it whatever you want with manifesting. And, maybe even your only problem. I'm going to go so far as to say it could be your only problem. It's not the techniques. It's not your programming. Ooh, you haven't heard me say that before, but I'm saying it now. It's not your programming. It's not how worthy you think you are. It's not how capable you think you are. It's not how good you think you are at manifesting. No, it's none of these things. It's that you keep falling back asleep and slipping back into victim mode. Again, in this mode of thinking that life is just happening, things just happen, has nothing to do with me. I just have to deal with it. I have to adjust myself now to these things that are just happening all around me. Now, this is most prevalent when it comes to manifesting a specific person. And by the way, if you want to learn what it really takes to manifest your specific person, I'll give you a hint. It's not changing the other person. And you can sign up now for my Manifest Your Specific Person 8-week group coaching program, which starts April 10th. And I have it on sale right now because I'm wanting to, expand and reach more of you and help more of you, because I know this can be a big issue. It doesn't have to be, but I'm going to teach you what it really takes in this 8-week program. And again, 50% off. You can find the link down below. And you'll know exactly what it takes in these 8 weeks. And yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. But yes, most people have this problem more with manifesting other people, whether it's a coworker, a family member, or a romantic relationship, whatever. They are all specific people, right? So whatever you're working on, if it's not a romantic relationship, but it's like with your boss or like with a family member or a coworker, they're all specific people, okay? It doesn't have to be a romantic partnership. They all fall into manifesting a specific person, and people struggle most with this because what do people do that money doesn't do, and a car doesn't do, and a house doesn't do, and a job doesn't do? People talk and people claim that they have their own preferences and ideas and whatever. But you can struggle also with these inanimate objects: money, jobs, cars, houses, anything at all that you're manifesting. But those things tend to be a little bit easier to think about, that you created and you are choosing, right? And you are choosing them always, all the time. Whatever is currently in your reality, you have manifested it. So also, if you have this idea that you're bad at manifesting, just throw that out the window right now, because you, first of all, you need to shift that idea of yourself. If you want to become better at manifesting, you have to think, I am good at manifesting. But it's not even accurate, because everything in your reality is manifested by you, consciously or unconsciously. You are doing it always, always have been, always will be. This is the way this reality works. So you're simply never a victim. You never, ever, ever are. Right? But again, going back to people, people talk and they seem to have their own beliefs, their own thoughts, their own preferences, and on and on and on, blah, 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 blah. No, you chose that version that has those beliefs and has those thoughts and has those preferences and blah, 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 on and on and on, all the things. Yes, the person does have them, but that's not an actual limitation. You chose that version consciously or unconsciously. You chose that from the infinite lineup of all the possibility of versions of that person. So you are not the victim. You are not the victim. No, you are not. You never are. And you don't actually have to practice, or sorry, you don't actually have to perceive those things as limitations. Again, what they're saying, what they're thinking, what their preferences are, what they, that's not an actual limitation, believe it or not, because again, that's just one option out of an infinite lineup of infinite versions of that person. So it's not an actual limitation. You have to stop seeing people's words. I know it's weird, right? But you have to stop seeing people's words as actual limitation, because they are not. They are not, right? It's not actual limitation. So it can't, if you can't shift this perspective and you keep slipping back into seeing it as a limitation, this is exactly what keeps you stuck, right? You keep thinking, oh, but the person actually said, and so now that's an actual limitation that I have to mold myself around. I have to build myself around. If you are doing that, you're saying that thing, you're a victim of that thing. You're saying that is a real solid, fact. And I now have to either decide if I want to deal with that, or maybe just kick that out of my reality all the way. That's never the case. That's never the case, right? But if you keep slipping back into seeing it as an actual limitation, this is exactly what keeps you stuck, because you're perceiving it as a limitation when really it's your selection out of the infinite lineup. It's your selection. And I chose that word carefully. I didn't call it a creation. Creation is finished. I might say that from time to time. You're not creating anything. Creation is finished. You're selecting from the infiniteness of creation, of all that is. You are selecting, right? And listen, you guys, I get it. This illusion that we find ourselves in is very, 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 convincing, enticing, seductive, seemingly so real. I get it. But this is what you need to break out of. This is what you need to stop giving your infinite power away to. You are infinitely powerful, and you can give your infinite power away and give it over to the illusion. You totally can. And that's what you're doing when you say, oh, that's an actual limitation. You're giving your power away. You're saying, I have no more power here to choose. I'm now, this is the one option because it's in physicality, it's here present. So this is all that's available. You are doing that. You're giving your power away to your past creation, by the way, your past selection. So if your past selection, and again, I'll say it one more time, consciously or unconsciously, so you may not have even consciously chosen this selection, and especially those unconscious selections, you give your power away to those. So you didn't actually, consciously choose anything, and then you're giving your power away to your own unconscious selection. Do you see the quicksand that you're finding yourself in, the roadblock, how you stay stuck, basically? So you can give your infinite power away, and you can give it over to the illusion. You totally can. But you can also take your power back and remember that you are never the victim of anything, any people, money, jobs, the YouTube algorithm, nothing. None of it. You are never the victim to any of it. Not ever. Not even one time have you ever been. And this is your moment. This is your moment to moment to moment to moment practice, right? Taking your power back and overcoming the affliction of buying into this illusion being final and real and solid and the only option that you now have to build yourself around. This is the practice, to stop slipping into that and to have more moments where you remember, oh, here's this past selection of mine, and I remember in this moment that that is my selection because I'm remembering that I'm not a victim. And I also remember that this selection is not the only option. There's an infinite lineup. There's an infinite amount of selections that I can now make. Do you see the power in this? To, have this experience in physicality, but not give your power away to the physicality. This is the biggest hurdle, the biggest issue, as I called it in the title, that you have, because again, you may know it in one moment, and then in another moment, you totally forget. This is what you want to practice, a moment to moment to moment, remembering and overcoming the affliction of giving your power away, of buying into the illusion, as seeing the illusion as something solid and real. Again, I know it is so convincing. It can be so convincing, so seductive, and so seemingly real. And you can buy into it to a certain degree. Okay, you can buy into it to a certain degree. We're having a human experience and we live in this illusion, but you just want to stop buying into it to the point where you think it has power over you and that there's actual limitations, because that's not real. That's not true. How could an illusion limit you? Think about that for a moment. How could an illusion, something that's not real, something that's temporary, something that's going in and out and constantly changing, how could that actually limit you? Well, I'll tell you how. Only if you give it the power to do so. That's how, and that's the only way that it could ever, ever, ever actually limit you. So this is what I want you guys to take from this video, is because again, you can know it in a moment and you can resonate deeply with it, but what you're trying to do is expand the number of moments that you remember this. Just think how different your life would be. You would be absolutely less reactive. You would be absolutely less, have less negative emotions. And I'm not talking about suppressing emotions. Your emotions, you wouldn't feel victimized. You wouldn't feel, these sad, heavy, defeated, feelings when you feel that you have no options, that you're stuck with this option that you don't like. So your whole life is going to change the more you expand the number of moments where you're not giving your power away over to the illusion. And that's what you want to practice. And I want to just flip back to one thing that I said earlier in the video, where I said it's not your techniques and it's not your programming. I know I teach a lot about, changing the program. Programming is essential, and it is, but this piece always comes first, because with this piece, you know that you even get to change the programming. If you don't know that you get to, create your reality any way that you want, if you don't know that you're an infinite creator, if you don't know that everything is already taking its cue from you and it's just waiting for you to, give out the next cue, the next signal, and it's ready to deliver at all times. If you don't know that, then changing your programming is going to be a struggle in and of itself. So knowing this piece, because yes, of course, I do think you still need to work on the programming so that you're not, unconsciously sabotaging yourself. And really just, you will feel better within yourself. That's the biggest win with working on your programming. But this piece allows you to change the programming. So keep that in mind. If you've looked at your programming and you're struggling to actually change it, I can almost guarantee you that it's this piece that's still missing. And again, maybe it's not completely missing, but maybe you only really truly resonate with this piece 10% of the time. And then the rest of the 90% of the time, as you move throughout your day and move throughout your life, you are in the illusion and you are back in victim mode. So you have 10% of the time where you resonate with being the creator, and you have 90% where you're operating from a victim standpoint within your consciousness. We need to flip that, get those two things reversed and have 90% of your time. You'll work up to it, obviously. You're not going to just flip it. But working up to having 90% of your time where you are remembering this truth, remembering that you're the creator, remembering that you have infinite potential and infinite power, and everything is waiting on you to give it the cue, and there are no actual limitations. 90% of the time you remember this, maybe 10% of the time, you're really in the illusion. It's really, whatever. Because again, you can be in it to some degree. It's just not when it's starting to make you suffer. That's too much. You're too far into it, and you don't need to be into it that much. All right, you guys, go and check out my course. You will not be sorry. And it's an 8-week group coaching course with live coaching calls every week with me, and hot seat coaching is available in there. It's 50% off. And you have lifetime access. That's the other thing. So this is your chance. I would love to work with you guys and see you in that program, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.